Hello, viewers. Welcome to the Whole Man podcast. And this is a podcast where we'll be bringing experts that will let us into things that will be deeply transformational. We join you to listen to past episodes if you have not listened to. And with me in the studio today is a seasoned marriage counselor. He has authored many relationship books and many romance books. He's a chartered accountant with extensive experience in audits, in retail, and in the edutech sector. He holds a first class and a master's degree in accounting from University of Lagos, the nation's first choice, right? And so, join me as I welcome to the podcast, Mr. Sunday Anani. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you for having me. I'm glad to be here.
Yeah, thank you very much, sir. So, can you just let us into the kind of mindset that one would make a relationship to work, and a mindset that also will not make a relationship to work?
Well, that's a very deep question, and we don't have all the time, but I will try to just explain that there are different mindsets that you will need to have if you want a relationship to work. Among those mindsets are, number one, intentionality. You see, if there is anything you want to get done successfully, if you are not intentional at it, there is no way you will get results. So you can profess love. People profess love. People say, I love you. People say, I want to marry you. But love is beyond just profession. Love is about intentionality. Those intentional acts, you have to push them in. You have to let your partner know that you are truly into this. Another thing that makes a relationship to work, a marriage to work, is not just you professing love, but you acting out the love. Love is more of an action word than it is a feeling. And that's the mistake most people make. People believe that when they tell a lady or a man that they love them, that they should take it as that. But it's beyond that. They want to see the action. You're doing that thing. But on the other hand, what does not make a relationship to work? There are many of them. So in no particular order, dishonesty, for example. If you're a dishonest person, you tell your partner, hey, I'll do this. They are watching you. They are waiting for you to do that thing that you have said. If you do not do it, they are watching that pattern. And if they can establish a pattern that you are not honest, the relationship is not going to work. Another thing is you're in a relationship and you always put yourself first. That means you are selfish. That relationship will not work because your partner will always feel like they are a second fiddle inside that relationship, even though it's just two of you that are in that. So there are a lot of them, but those are just a few that I think I can mention for now.
Thank you very much for this insight. Intentionality.
Yeah.
And there are some other bad values basically that you have. You can say that you don't want to see another person, but the question is, do you have those bad values yourself? Right? So I think there's a popular saying that goes, no finance, no romance. What is your take on it?
Well, no finance, no romance. In the actual sense, there can be some level of romance without finance. And I will explain to you. There are people who are living a very dejected life, so to say. And they still find a way to, not that they want to live that life, but they are just in that situation, unfortunately. But they still find a way to give themselves joy. They still find a way to make themselves happy, despite the fact that they do not have so much of the finance that they need. But doesn't mean it's easy. No, it is not easy. If you speak to those people, they will tell you that the fact that they are not able to afford some certain things, is affecting their romance life. But they are just able to manage, adjust, and all that. But the truth is that where there is finance, romance is usually awesome, especially where there is connection. Even though with finance, there may be no romance at times. And that is because of some other factors that are external to finance, like the attitude that I mentioned earlier, intentionality, acting out love, being honest or being dishonest. So a person can have money, a person can have a car, and their partner will also find them romantic because they have some other attitude that they do not like being dishonest, being a liar, not being reliable. So in summary, I would say that no finance, no romance is true to an extent, but of course, people find a way around it and are still able to love each other, despite the fact that they don't have all that they need financially and even material-wise. So I agree with you, but on the other hand as well, I think that people are able to find a way around it as well.
So we need to strike a balance.
Yeah, sure. We need to strike a balance. You don't say You don't have money, no romance. No, you need to, there's a place for patience. There's a place for growing into what you want, right? There are people today you admire. They didn't jump to that stage where you are saying that they moved through the stairs. They're 1, 2, 3 before they got to maybe step 30. So they moved through it, and through all those stairs, there were sacrifices that went into it.
Yeah. Thank you very much, sir, for that
You're welcome.
for that profound insight. I believe many young men who are growing up, would see that answer and find it comforting, because in this part, if you check on Twitter, you get conversations about relationship. It first tilts to what the man can bring to the table before even the woman gets to respond to his proposal.
It has to be the two people. People need to understand that a relationship or a marriage does not work because a man is in it. A relationship does not work because a woman is in it. It is because two people are inside that relationship. And everybody has to bring their best to the table. That's why we say all hands must be on deck. Nobody will say, I will fold my hands while you put your hand on the table. No. Everybody needs to come to the table, put something on the table, and then push it together. And that's how to make a relationship or a marriage to grow.
Solid. Thank you very much. Men are primarily charged with providing for the home. Times have changed right now, so women are getting involved into it and everything. But how can a man navigate the pressures and the challenges that comes with catering for his home and providing for his family?
First of all, I would like to correct an impression that people have. Many people think that a man is a provider. Many people think that a woman should support, which is correct, fine. But I want you to understand that in a Christian marriage, in a Christian relationship, marriage as it were, the provider of needs is God. And God can choose anybody as a conduit through which he will meet the needs of the family. Do you know that there are marriages where the person that is doing well is the woman?
Yeah.
Doing well financially, career-wise, doing way better than the man. Not that the man is not doing anything, but the woman is doing way better. That's to tell you that God in his wisdom can provide to a family, can provide for a family through any of the people in the family. And I will also advise men, don't put the title of provider on your head. I don't know if you get what I'm saying. Go and check the scriptures. When the Bible says who does not provide for his home is worse than an infidel. That thing has a context. Before that verse, they were talking about widows, providing for widows who are widows indeed. And if the widows cannot provide for themselves, the family members of the widows, and then if any of this cannot provide, it now says that he who cannot provide. The word he was used there quite all right. But it's in the context of providing for widows, providing for people who need it. That provision can be made by anybody. Does it exonerate a man from being responsible? No. Because when you say, hey, you want to marry somebody, you are simply saying, hey, I want to be responsible for a part of your life. So it places the responsibility on you. Provide, but let the pressure of, hey, I'm the provider, let it rest on God while you are doing your best. And the woman should also understand that she's not, she's a woman of resources. She's a helper, she's a supporter. When you call somebody a helper probably has more than you even have. Say, come and help me. It means you also have energy to bear a load, right? So people should learn to understand that marriage requires two people to make things to work. Men should also avoid too much pressure on themselves, but they should ensure that they give their best in whatever they are doing.
Because we are also talking about the whole man, so you actually need a combination between the man, the efforts of the man and the woman.
Exactly.
To ensure that the man is whole, he's not overly burdened, and then we can see the average lifespan of men in our society is not actually that great, because of the burdens they carry and they don't even share. Yet. So I think that balance that you're giving is very necessary. Speaking of responsibility, how can a man shoulder the responsibility of fatherhood? Because we know that fatherhood is very, very essential in our society. Raising up children, leading them, ensuring that they grow in a safe space for their own destinies and also for their own lives. How can we shoulder that responsibility as men?
Well, to shoulder the responsibility of fatherhood, as it were, as a man, first thing first, you even need to understand what being a father means. Unfortunately, some men think that the major role they have in the family is to just, donate sperm and then push out babies, and all of that. No, it's more than that. Being able to produce sperm, as it were, is not what makes you a man. It's not what makes you a father. It may mean that you are a man. Let me correct that. It doesn't make you a father. Fatherhood is a responsibility. And how do we handle responsibilities? We discharge responsibilities. How do you discharge responsibilities? You discharge responsibility by understanding the responsibility. That's why when you are employed in a place, they give you a JD.
Yeah.
The JD tells you what you are supposed to do as job description. Will you be able to perform if you don't understand the description? You can't. So as a man who becomes a husband, before you become a father, read, learn, ask yourself, what does it mean to be a father? Wedding has launched you into being a husband. Birth has launched you into being a man. What will make you a father is not being, hey, we have given birth. No, it is you understanding your role. You can't understand your role if you don't read. Read the scriptures. What does the Bible say about being a father? How can you be an example? You need to be an example yourself. You may also have to do a certain amount of work on how you were raised. Some of us were not raised the right way. You may need to deviate from how you were raised. Your father may have raised you a broken man, a broken young man. You might need to navigate yourself away from that path and form a path for yourself in the way of the Lord, and then be a true father that can be an example. Let it be that when your children grow up, they will say that, no, my father will not do this thing like this. Do you understand? That is we men coming out as examples to our generation.
That's it. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Listen, understanding is very key to developing that responsibility as a father.
Exactly.
Right? You're not a father because you're a man, you're married to a woman, or you have 2 children who are running up and down, calling you daddy. You get, or you're paying for their school fees. Necessarily does not even make you a father, but because you have the understanding of the fatherhood of God, you have read books, you know how to train up a child in the way that you should go. Right? So, thank you very much, sir, for the insight that you've given us on the podcast.
Thank you.
So our viewers, do well to stick around. We'll bring in more guests on the podcast, share more insights that we can experience and take in insights that will develop our everyday living. Thank you very much for joining us on the Home On podcast. Thank you.